All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Haloyum Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakal Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so I have this article here. Let me bring it up. All right, this article reads, it says, trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect elites from near extinction event. Now, what is this near extinction event? This near extinction event is World War III. All right, now this is what the true prophets and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai have been prophesying. All right. We have been telling you, I say we, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, I am of the elect. I am one of the Lord's true chosen prophets, all right? We have been telling you, all right, that World War III is coming, all right? This is what the true prophets and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai will be preaching about, because the main thing, all right, to preach when you preach this gospel is prophecy, man. All right, does not the scripture say, Revelation 19:10, all right, that the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy? So if you want to testify of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, then you have to be preaching these prophecies, man. Okay? The true prophets and the true servants of the Lord, we've been telling you that World War III is coming. Now, why? All right, why would the elites, all right, have bunkers, all right, that go 13 stories underground? All right, they got nuclear bunkers that go 13 stories underground. They got nuclear bunkers in the mountains. All right, it says right here, to protect them, all right, from near extinction event, because they know that World War III is coming. All right, they are the ones that are creating this third world war. All right, first and foremost, it's Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right, because this is part of his will. All right, this is prophecy. It's written in the scriptures, all right, that the Lord is going to bring all the nations together, all right, to pour upon them, all right, the fire of his jealousy, all right, and that's going to come, all right, via the nuclear missiles in this third world war. All right, trillions spent, it says, trillions spent on secret cities to protect elites from near extinction event, because they know that nuclear missiles are coming. They know that nuclear missiles are going to hit this earth, man. All right, they are the ones that are creating this third world war. And I go into this all the time when you read a book called Satan's Angels Exposed, written by Salem Kerbin. All right, it goes into what's known as the Albert Pike and Mazzini blueprint, or the Albert Pike and Mazzini plan. All right, which is a plan that the elites use. All right, which is a plan to create 3 world wars. All right, we already had World War I, World War II, and now you got World War III. And it tells you that World War III is going to be, all right, brewed up by starting controversy, all right, by bringing tensions between the Muslim world and the Judaism world. And that's exactly what you see happening right now. All right, see, it's the elites that are orchestrating and manufacturing this third world war. Ultimately, it's the Most High, all right, because the prophecy is already written. It's written in his word. That's the Lord's will, to bring World War III, all right, to cleanse this earth by thermonuclear destruction, because the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, the 6th verse, all right, that wickedness has exceedingly polluted this earth. So this earth has to be cleansed, all right, and fire is the best cleansing agent, all right. This earth is going to be swallowed up, swept by thermonuclear destruction, and that's getting ready to happen very, very soon in this third world war. All right, So again, trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect elites. Why do these elites have secret underground uh uh bunkers that go 13 feet underground? They got nuclear bunkers, all right, that are inside mountains, all right, because nuclear missiles are going to hit this earth, and they know it. They know. See, the elites know what's going on because they're creating all of this. You understand? All right. So we gonna get into the scriptures as well, man. All right, and prove that, man. And then we gonna read the article. All right. But again, it says trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect the elites. Yeah, because, and the reason why the elites are going to be in these nuclear bunkers that go 13 stories underground, these nuclear bunkers in the mountains. All right, the Lord is going to allow them to flee into those bunkers, all right, and be protected in those bunkers that the nuclear missiles don't hit them. Why? It's because they're going to be the first set of slaves, all right, the first set of slaves, all right, unto the Israelites. When we come down from those chariots, all right, we're going to pull them from those nuclear bunkers, all right, and they're going into chains and they're going into shackles, and they're going to be the first set of slaves to clean up this earth, to rebuild this earth back up. All right, they're going to be slaves and servants and subjects unto the Israelites, all right, which is you Negroes, you Latinos, and you Native Americans. Okay, all right, so let's get into the scriptures, man. All right, let's get into the scriptures. Let's get Revelation, I think it's Revelation, the 6th chapter. All right, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Revelation 6. But let me go through my I got my scriptures here in front of me. All right, just give me a second. All right, let's get into the scriptures. All right, Revelation 6, and we'll start at verse 12. All right, verse 12. All right, because the elites, all right, like this title reads right here, trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect elites from near extinction event. All right, this is biblical. All right, that the elites will be in their they will hide in their holes, in the holes of the rocks. All right, from the day of the Lord. All right, because Yahushua is coming back on Yahushua is the day that Yahushua, all right, we don't know the exact day, but we know around the time, all right, Yahushua, all right, is going to crack that sky with the angels, all right, in the midst of World War III, in the midst of when these nuclear missiles are hitting this earth. Okay, so we gonna read it, man. All right, Revelation, we'll start at verse 12. All right, and it says, and I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. All right, that great earthquake is these nuclear missiles hitting this earth. The scriptures say that the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. All right, that's how great and powerful these nuclear missiles are going to be. You got to understand, these nuclear missiles that are going to hit this earth in this third world war, that's the fierce anger and the fierce wrath of the Lord. All right, the most powerful nuclear bomb to ever be detonated on this earth, all right, is known as the Tsar Bomba, which yielded 50 megatons of TNT. All right, 50 megatons of TNT, and that was back in the 60s. All right, just a 1 megaton nuclear missile, all right, just a 1 megaton nuclear missile, all right, burns 4 to 5 times hotter than the center of the sun. All right, so imagine a 50 megaton nuclear missile, all right, or 150 megaton nuclear missile, or just 100 megaton nuclear missile. All right, like I said, all right, in the 60s, all right, you had a Russian nuclear bomb, all right, known as the Tsar Bomba, which was 50 megatons of TNT. All right, it yielded 50 mega, and that was back in the 60s. That was the most powerful nuclear bomb to ever be detonated on this earth. That was back in the 60s. So what do you think now? All right, how strong those and powerful those nuclear missiles are now, like the scriptures say. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Matter of fact, let's pull that up real quick. All right, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. All right, that's in Isaiah the 24th chapter. All right, let's grab it real quick, and I think it's around the 20th verse. All right, yeah. All right, let's start at Isaiah 24:19. It says, the earth is utterly broken down. Whoo. The earth is clean, dissolved. Yeah, because what's going to do that? The nuclear missiles. All right, this goes hand in hand with 2 Peter the 3rd chapter. All right, when Peter said, knowing that these things shall be dissolved. All right, and the heavens pass away with a great noise. All right, that's talking about those nuclear missiles that are going to hit this earth in this third world war. All right, he said, what manner of man ought ye to be? All right, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. Yeah, because everything that you see is going to dissolve. All right, like I just mentioned. All right, 2 Peter the 3rd chapter. All right, the scripture, he said that the elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right, everything that you see, buildings, cars, monuments, statues, everything you see, man, is going to dissolve, and America is going to become a flat land. All right, all the mountains you see is going to become a flat land. All right, because of the thermonuclear destruction. All right, it says Isaiah, and it's prophesied that America is going to be cleaned. All right, going to be wiped clean off the face of this earth by thermonuclear destruction. All right, when you read above, all right, when you go up a little bit, all right, it says where is it at? All right, the city of confusion is broken down. The city of confusion, all right, it's talking about America, because in the Bible, America is known as what? Babylon the Great. The word Babylon comes from the Hebrew word babal, which means confusion. All right, because that's all America is. Matter of fact, let's see what the word confusion is here. All right, the city of confusion. It's not babal here. All right, emptiness. Yeah. All right, because scriptures say that that Babylon shall be left without an inhabitant. All right. All right. So let's go back real quick. It says Isaiah 24:19, and right, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. The earth shall reel to and is gonna rock. The whole earth is gonna rock, bro. All right, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. Woo. And it shall fall and not rise again. That's right, man. All right. So when you, matter of fact, the same thing is written in Isaiah the 13th chapter, which is a chapter talking about America being destroyed. All right. It says right here, Isaiah 13:13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger, which is when these nuclear missiles hit this earth, man. All right, so when you go back to Revelation 6, like we was getting into, all right, because what's the whole point of this video? Trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect elites from near extinction event. All right, that near extinction event is talking about World War III. All right, World War III is going to be the war to end all wars. All right, and the elites have these secret underground nuclear bunkers. All right, because they're the ones that's creating this third world war. They know that nuclear missiles are going to sweep this earth. All right, and they know about biblical prophecy. The elites have scholars, all right, working for them around the clock, studying the scriptures, all right, trying to find a loophole in the scriptures. That's why they know who they are. They know that they are the Edomites. They know that the Negro, Latino, Native American man, all right, are the true Israelites. They know that we are the prophets, all right, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai willing, all right. They know that we are the prophets, man, coming back. They know that Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai has risen us back up again in these last days. All right, like the Lord said in Amos 9. All right, in the last days I shall raise up the tabernacle of David that has fallen. I will raise up his ruins. All right, that's another tabernacle. David is another name for the elect, man. All right, so let's read this again. Trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect elites from near extinction event. All right, so this is scriptural. All right, Revelation 6 and 12. All right, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, nuclear missiles, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. The stars of heaven is talking about the nuclear missiles, all right? And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. That's right. That mighty wind is talking about that wind from that nuclear destruction. That nuclear destruction, that wind is going to sweep across this land you call America, man. All right, many parts of the earth. But mainly here in America, because America is going to be wiped off the face of this earth by nuclear destruction, and it's never going to be inhabited again. All right, that's all over the scriptures. All right, it says, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. All right, matter of fact, let's go to Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah 51. All right, Jeremiah 51 and 1. All right, Jeremiah 51 and 1. It says, as you see right here, look at the heading. Babylon judged for sins against Israel. Yeah, America is going to be judged. This is what this Babylon is. All right. Oh, what happened? What I do? All right, the title reads, all right, because when you read Jeremiah 51, it's talking about America being destroyed. And when you read the title here, all right, Babylon judged for sins against Israel. Yeah, everything that America has done to the Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right, this place is going to get swept by nuclear destruction. All right, because the nation of Israel, that is the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, the nation of Israel are God's chosen people. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's chosen people, man. All right, and you have touched the Lord's prized possession. You have touched his jewels, man. All right, Babylon judged for the sins against Israel. All right, now Jeremiah 51 and 1, it says, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against Babylon, not for Babylon. The Lord is against Babylon, America, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. All right, talking about that nuclear destruction. So this goes hand in hand with what we just read in Revelation 6 and 13. All right, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, the nuclear missiles, all right, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. All right, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, talking about the mushroom cloud. All right, and every mountain and every island were moved out of their place. Man, what's going to be able to do that? The thermonuclear destruction, the nuclear missiles that are going to come beating down upon this earth. All right, but this is the point. It says Revelation 6 and 15, and the kings of the earth, meaning the elites of this earth, you know, starting with the elites, the elite banking families, all right, and trickling down to you lower elites, all right, but the top elites are the elite banking families, all right, the elite Illuminati Edomite wicked banking families, all right, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Collins family, all right, the Aster family, all right. It says, and the kings of this earth, like I said, starting with the elites, then the presidents and prime ministers and kings of nations, you know, and the kings of this earth and great men and rich men. All right. Matter of fact, let me read this from the beginning, man, because this is, all right, Revelation 6 and 12. And I beheld when he had held, all right, because now that I broke it down, you understand it. All right. It says Revelation 6 and 12. And I beheld when when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and freeman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, talking about these nuclear bunkers. All right, like we're reading right here. All right, the title of this video: trillions spent on secret underground cities to protect elites from near extinction event, which is World War III. Right, when these nuclear missiles hit this earth. All right, as we're reading right here, Revelation 6 and 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. All right, because that's where they got these nuclear bunkers. All right, inside of mountains. All right, under 13 stories deep inside the earth. All right, it says they hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. All right, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Yeah, because they know that Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is coming back. They know that Yahweh's getting ready to send Yahweh Shai back, man. All right, they're going to hide from their nuclear missiles, and they're going to hide from the Lord when he cracks that sky, because he's going to come during that time when these nuclear missiles are hitting this earth, man, because it's going to be Yahweh Shai and the angels, all right, simultaneously destroying this earth with the nuclear missiles. It's going to be the nuclear missiles and Yahweh Shai with the angels destroying this earth, man. You understand? All right, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Right, which is the one that sits on the throne is Yahweh. All right, Yahweh the Most High. All right, and from the wrath of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. All right, because Yahweh Shai is coming back to carry out the will of the Lord. He's coming back to carry out the fierce anger and the fierce wrath of Yahweh the Most High. All right, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Yeah, no one's going to be able to stand that day. All right, Yahweh Shai is coming back to slaughter billions of people. Billions of people are going to die, man. The only ones that are going to be able to stand that day is the elect. All right, 1/3 of the nation of Israel. All right, that's who the elect is. All right, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Nobody. All right, because the Lord is coming back to kill, slaughter billions of people, man. All right, the Lord is coming back to set this earth ablaze, because he's coming back to cleanse this earth, man. All right, the scriptures say, destroy them that destroyed the earth, and that's what the Lord is coming back to do. To destroy Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, starting with the elite banking families. All right, because the scriptures say, destroy them that destroy the earth. All right, whose hand is the earth in right now? The elite banking families, the Edomite man. All right, starting with the elite banking family, the Edomites, the so-called white man. All right, the scriptures say the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which means the earth is in the hands of the wicked right now. All right, there's a race in the Bible known as the wicked, the Edomite race, which is the so-called white race. They're the wicked race that the Lord has created, all right, to bring evils and destruction upon this earth, man. All right, so our people will know what true wickedness is, man. All right, so that we will enjoy righteousness even more. All right, when we become immortal and you know and we become better judges. All right, we become better judges on this earth, man. Okay. All right, so I also want to get another scripture, Isaiah the 2nd chapter. All right, but give me a second real quick. Isaiah 2 and I'll start at verse 19. Isaiah 2 and 19. All right. See, they're going to be in these nuclear bunkers, but we're going to hunt them out of their nuclear bunkers. We're going to take them out of their nuclear bunkers when we come back down from the chariots. All right. Because we're going to see America and this whole earth being destroyed by nuclear fire. All right. From a bird's eye view, we're going to be inside those chariots. Okay. We're going to be looking down at the destruction, but when the destruction overpasses, when it's done, we're going to come down from those chariots, what this world calls a UFO. All right, we're going to come down from those chariots back upon this earth, and we're going to grab them out of those bunkers, and they're going into chains, and they're going into shackles, man, like the scriptures say. All right, Psalms 149. All right, Psalms 2, Revelation 13 and 10. All right, Jeremiah 16. All right, Jeremiah 30 and 16. All right, but anyway, this is Isaiah 2 and 19. Let's read it. It says, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the, matter of fact, yeah, all right, this is what I want. All right, Isaiah 2 and 19. It says, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth. Talking about the elites, man. All right, for the fear of who? For the fear of Yahweh, the Most High. All right, and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly the earth. And that's going to happen when these nuclear missiles hit, man. When these nuclear missiles hit the earth, they're going to be in what? It says they shall go into the holes of the rocks and in the caves of these earths, man. Talking about their nuclear bunkers, man. Like we read earlier in like we just read, man, in Revelation the 6th chapter. This is talking about the same thing in Isaiah 2. It says, Isaiah 2 and 19, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for the fear of Yahweh, all right, and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly the earth. That's right, man. All right, so that's why how is he going to shake terribly this earth when these nuclear missiles hit? All right, that's why you see right here the title of this article says secret underground cities to protect elites from near extinction event, which is talking about those nuclear missiles, secret underground cities, nuclear bunkers. All right. It says when he arises to shake terribly the earth, in that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, when they which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. Yeah, because it's all going to be useless. They're going to realize that they just worshiping bullshit, man. Nothing. All right, when Yahweh Shai starts to visit when Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai starts to visit this earth, man. All right, it says to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks, their nuclear bunkers, for the fear of Yahweh. All right, and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly the earth. Seize ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he, all right, to be accounted of. All right, so they're going to go right into their nuclear missiles, their nuclear bunkers. All right, because they know that nuclear missiles going to hit this earth. All right, and they know that Yahweh Shai, all right, Yahweh is going to send Yahweh Shai back, man. All right, it says for the fear of the Lord, man. You see? All right, but we're going to grab them out of those bunkers, bro. All right, matter of fact, yeah, let's grab that. What's that? Jeremiah 16. I think starting at 16. All right. Yeah. All right. So it says, behold, I will send for many fishers. All right. The fishers are talking about the prophets. All right. Because that's what the prophets do. They fish in the elect. All right. They reel in the elect. All right. They bring the elect into this fold back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. When the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord, all right, which are the Israelites of great millstone, all right, behold, I will send for many fishers. When we're out there on the highways and hedges teaching and preaching, all right, that's exactly what we're doing. We're fishing the elect. All right. So the Lord said, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh. And they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters. So the Lord's going to turn the fishers, the prophets, into hunters, man. All right, who we going to hunt? All right, it says right here, and they shall hunt them, all right, from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rock. So we're going to take them and hunt them, all right. We're going to hunt them, all right, and take them out of their nuclear bunkers, all right. And they shall hunt them from, all right, from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks, man. All right, for my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. All right, so the Lord is going to give spiritual powers, all right, unto his elect, his prophets. All right, we're going to hunt them out of their nuclear bunkers, their nuclear bunkers, because they're going to be our first set of slaves. They're going into shackles and chains. All right. Let's grab that, all right? Psalms 149, all right? Let's just get straight to the point. All right, Psalms 149 and 6, it says, let the high praises of God be in their mouth, all right, and a two-edged sword in their hand, all right, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, all right? The heathen is talking about people who are not Israelites, all right, because we're going to execute, all right, vengeance upon them, all right, we're going to punish them, all right, they're going into captivity, slavery, all right, for 1,000 years, these other nations, all right, when Yahushua comes back, all right, he's going to set the kingdom of Israel, all right, the Israelites to be kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth when he comes back, all right, and every other nation, all right, is going to be our subjects and our slaves, all right. Psalms 149 and 7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, all right, to bind their kings with chains and nobles with fetters of iron, all right, to execute upon them the judgment written. Dishonor have all his saints, praise ye Yahweh, all right. So we're going to bind what? Their kings with chains, all right, the elites of this earth, all right, and their nobles with fetters of iron. They're going to have yokes, just like we had yokes of iron, all right, upon our necks, and we were in chains being slaughtered and tortured. The same thing is going to happen to them, man. All right, they have to go into chains and shackles. All right, matter of fact, let's also grab that. All right, we just grabbed it right here, but let's also get Isaiah 14. All right, it says Isaiah 14 and 1, it says, for Yahweh will have mercy on who? On Jacob. All right, that's who Yahweh is going to have mercy on, Jacob, which is the nation of Israel. All right, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. That hasn't happened yet. The true Israelites are not in the Holy Land right now. All right, Esau, Edom is in the Holy Land right now, and the Lord is getting ready to wipe them off the face of this earth. All right, because that land has to be cleansed too, all right, by thermonuclear destruction, all right, before the true Israelites return, because that land has to be cleansed, all right, before immortal bodies, all right, enter into that land, all right, and set them in their own land, and the strangers, all right, who are Israelite foreigners shall be joined with them, all right, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. So, all right, they're going to be our servants and they're going to be our handmaids. All right, these other nations in the kingdom of heaven when the Lord brings us back to our holy land. All right, the holy land. All right. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. Yeah, so we were their captives. All right, now we're going to take them captives. All right, because we were their captives. Now it's their time to go into captivity. All right, it says, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Yeah, we're going to rule over our oppressors. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and all the other nations. All right, it's just Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He's our top enemy. All right, it tells you that in Psalms the 83rd chapter. Right, he's the top. That's the top enemy to the nation of Israel. All right, the Edomites, which is the so-called white race today. In Psalm the 83rd chapter, it tells you that. This is all the nations are our enemies, man. They all had their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to our slavery, our oppression. All right, throughout the course of history, our destruction. All right, so it says It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh, and for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow. Yeah, because when the Lord comes back, all right, we're going to be at complete rest, man. All right, we're going to be gods and kings and rulers of this planet Earth once again. We're never going to die. We're going to be immortal. We're going to be at complete rest. We're never going to fear of anything ever again. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Yeah, the hard bondage that we serve all throughout course of history here in America. All right, because we went into many captivities, man. All right, and the great captivity was here in America, man. That was the magnitude of this slavery and oppression here in America was wild, man. All right. So now let's go in let's go into this article, man. All right, because we didn't even go into the article yet. Just off this title, I was able to, break it down, man. All right. So let's go into this article, man. All right. It says the U.S. government has funneled trillions into a covert network of underground cities designed to shield the elite from an impending near extinction event. Yeah, man, that's true, bro. This ain't no conspiracy. It's not conspiracy when it's a fact, bro. All right. We just broke it down with the scriptures, bro. All right. The U.S. government has funneled trillions into a covert network of underground cities designed to shield the elite from an impending near extinction event. Yeah, it is it's literally right around the corner, bro. And this is what the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying. We've been telling you, man. All right, we know what's happening. We know what's going on. We've been warning the elect. All right. All right. Because nobody else knows what's happening except the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord and the great multitude that follows behind the 144,000. All right? We know what's getting ready to happen, man. The elites know what's going ready to happen. All right? That's why they building these underground cities. We've been prophesying this. We've been telling you that World War III is coming. America's going to be destroyed. Great hell and great death and great famine and misery and sorrow and anguish and mourning is coming, man. All right? The U.S. government has funneled trillions into a covert network of underground cities designed to shield, all right, the elite from an impending near extinction event, according to a bombshell claim by former Bush administration, all right, official Catherine Austin Fitts. All right, we know this, man. All right, this ain't nothing new to us. All right, but we're out here to warn the elect. All right, to teach. All right, to wake people up. All right, which the elect is only who we're out here for. That's the only people. That's the only people that's going to wake up, the elect. All right, that's all we're out here for, and we understand that. All right. We're here to warn y'all, man, and let you know what's getting ready to happen before it happens. Like it says in Ezekiel the 3rd chapter, all right? The Lord said, give them warning from me. That's what prophets do. They warn people, all right? It says in a recent interview with Tucker Carlson, Fitz alleged, all right, that at least 170 high-tech bunkers, some buried deep beneath the ocean floor, all right, have been constructed across America since 1998, all right, hidden from public view and accountability. That's right, man. All right, they've been known, man. All right, it's preparation. All right, it's preparation for catastrophe, yeah. All right, because who's the one that's creating the catastrophe? The elites. They know, man. They know what they're doing. All right. They know that, bro, they're the one that's creating it. Ultimately, it's the Most High, but the Most High is using the elites to create this, man, and do this because this is the word. This is the prophecy, man, to make his word and his will come to pass, man. All right. It says Fitz, who served as Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under President George H.W. Bush from 1989 to 1990 claimed 21 trillion in taxpayer dollars were funneled into the project between 1998 and 2015. All right. She said a 2017 report, all right, from Michigan State University economist Mark Skidmore indicated that much more unauthorized spending had been uncovered across the Departments of Defense and Housing and Urban Developments during that time. All right. And you got a picture right here. All right. It says a former Bush official said that U.S. government spend funneling money into the creation of secret underground cities where the rich and powerful can shelter an event of impeding near extinction event. See, because what the elites think is that after the nuclear destruction is over, they think they're going to come out, all right, their nuclear bunkers, and they're going to rebuild this earth and continue to rule this planet Earth. Esau Edom is not going to rule this planet Earth forever and ever. The so-called white man is not going to rule this planet Earth forever and ever. All right? After that nuclear destruction, we're going to, like we read earlier, all right? Jeremiah 16:16, we're going to take them out from those nuclear bunkers, and they're going into shackles and they're going into chains, man. The wicked elite. All right, the wicked and abominable elite, the Edomites, they're going into chains and they're going into shackles, man. Because Esau Edom, all right, the so-called white man thinks he's going to rule this planet Earth forever, man, and he's not, man. They think they're just going to come out those nuclear bunkers and start ruling again and building this earth back and becoming rulers of this earth again. Nah, man. All right, like the scriptures say, they shall, let's grab that, bro. Their inward thought is that their houses shall rule forever. Yeah, let's get that. All right. Let's get that real quick. Oh, what am I doing? Hold on. All right, Psalms 49 and 11. Yeah. All right. Matter of fact, let me go through my scriptures here real quick. All right. Come on, man. All right. It says, yeah, all right. Psalms 49 and 11. All right. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. And that's why they got these nuclear bunkers, man. All right. Like we see right here. All right. It says funneling money into the creation of secret underground cities where the rich and powerful can shelter in the event of an impeding near extinction event. Yeah. All right. And they think they're just going to come out those nuclear bunkers and start ruling. Nah, man. All right. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. Yeah. Esau Edom think he just going to rule this planet. The so-called white man not going to rule this planet Earth forever, man. All right, it says, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Now, who that's it can't be nothing else than Esau, man. Because that's what Esau does. Every time he conquers a land, he calls it after his own name. Africa was conquered, all right, by a Roman general, Leo Scipio Africanus. That's where the name Africa comes from. All right, same thing with America. All right, America comes from Amerigo Vespucci. All right. Then all these cities and landmarks in America is named after Edomites, Esau, you know? Like New York, if I'm not mistaken, New York was named after a king called King York. All right? So on and so forth, man. All right? It says New York Post reports after 2 years of combing through records related to already documented underground military bases. All right, Fitz says she also looked into allegations of a wider bunker network. Yeah, they got so many underground networks, man. All right, all from one side to America to the other side of America, they're underground. They all connect to each other. All right, it says comparing her research against the mission cache, Fitz said she was able to make a guess about the many facilities there really are. She claimed the 170 only applied to bases on U.S. soil and around its coastline, alleging that more exist across the world. All right. The bases are connected by an elaborate transportation system, she added, while claiming they are powered by a secret energy system known only to the military. All right. I am convinced that this energy exists. All right. If you look at a lot of really fast ships flying around the planet, they're not using classical electric, she said, in an apparent reference to a spate of bizarre unidentified aerial phenomena supposedly flying around the skies in recent years. All right. Those alleged bases are used not just as doomsday bunkers for the elites, Fitz claimed, but also as places for government to operate secret operations like a secret space program. Yeah. All right. They got a secret space program. Why? Because they know Yahweh Shai is coming back. All right. It says the existence of elaborate underground government bases and bunkers is no secret. All right. During the Cold War, all right, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex was built inside a Colorado mountain to serve as a hardened base of operations for various military operations. All right. It is currently used by the U.S. Space Force. All right. So, you could read this article for yourself. All right. If anybody in GMS sees this video, happens to see this video, you can, go into this yourself and do your own lesson, man. All right. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Ratazah. This lesson was edifying. All right. Call Halal Yum, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakal Quitash. All right. So, with that being said, until the next one, Shalom.